This one everyday vegetable could quietly raise your stroke risk overnight, and almost no one knows about it. And as a brain doctor who has spent more than 20 years studying how food affects blood flow in the brain, I'm telling you this because I've seen the consequences up close, in the ER, in stroke units, and in patients who thought they were eating healthy. Most seniors believe vegetables are always safe. Spinach, broccoli, green beans, salads. You've heard it your whole life. Eat more vegetables to protect your heart and brain. But here's the shocking truth. Some vegetables, when eaten the wrong way or at the wrong time, can thicken your blood, disrupt circulation, spike your nighttime blood pressure, and significantly increase your stroke risk while you sleep. I know how unbelievable that sounds. But every week, I meet older adults who do everything right. They avoid sugar. They avoid fried food. They walk every morning. And still, one day, they wake up with numbness in a hand, or they suddenly can't speak clearly, or they feel a heaviness in one side of their body. When we trace the cause, it often leads back to a silent change in circulation that started the night before, triggered by a food they thought was perfectly healthy. In today's video, I'll show you the one vegetable that can spike your stroke risk overnight, the science behind why it happens, and simple, safer alternatives you can use to protect your brain, starting tonight. Because when you're over 60, the foods you eat after dinner matter more than you think. Your blood pressure naturally rises at night. Your arteries become more reactive, and your brain becomes more vulnerable to even small changes in circulation. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which vegetable to avoid, how it affects your brain's blood flow, and what you can do instead to wake up clear-headed, steady, and safe. Let's get started. Number 1. Beets. The nighttime blood pressure trap. Many people think beets are one of the most powerful circulation boosters in the vegetable world, and during the day, that might be true. But at night, it can become a completely different story, one that most seniors never hear about. When you eat beets for dinner or drink beet juice in the evening, something begins happening inside your blood vessels. Beets are loaded with natural nitrates, and your body turns those nitrates into a gas called nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as a vessel relaxer. It tells your arteries to open wider so more blood can move through. During the daytime, that can help you feel energized, more focused, even less stiff. But when it happens at night, while your body is trying to rest, this sudden change can confuse your system. Most seniors don't realize that nighttime is when your heart wants peace and stability, a gentle, predictable rhythm. Your blood vessels normally relax slowly as you sleep, bringing your blood pressure down in a controlled way. But beets can cause that relaxation to happen too fast. When vessels open too quickly, your blood pressure can drop more than your body is prepared for. And that's when many older adults wake up dizzy, or feel their legs give out when they get out of bed, or notice their vision blur for a moment. These are not just aging. These can be signs that the brain wasn't getting stable circulation overnight. But that's just one side of the story. For some seniors, the body reacts in the opposite direction. It senses the sudden widening of the vessels and tries to correct it, too aggressively, and instead of blood pressure dropping, it shoots upward. Many older adults who eat beets at night don't realize that their unexpected morning headaches, their pounding heart when they wake up, or the strange pressure behind their eyes may come from this rebound effect. Your body is trying to fight the sudden shift, and in doing so, pushes your blood pressure higher than usual. And sadly, early morning spikes are one of the biggest triggers of stroke. There's also another layer to this problem. As we age, our arteries lose some of the softness they once had. The walls don't expand and contract as easily. So any sudden change, even one caused by a healthy vegetable, feels stronger, heavier, more dramatic inside an older body than it would inside a younger one. What feels like a mild boost for a 30-year-old can feel like a shock for someone in their 60s or 70s. Now, does this mean beets are bad? No. But timing matters. And for most seniors, nighttime is the worst moment to eat them. Your heart doesn't need a surprise at 10 p.m. It needs calm. If you enjoy beets, have them earlier in the day, at breakfast or lunch, when your body can easily handle the circulation boost. But after sunset, when your heart wants rest, reach for something gentler. Because the truth is simple. What helps you during the day can quietly harm you at night. Number 2. Spinach, the high oxalate leaf that can quietly thicken. Senior blood at night. Spinach is one of those vegetables everyone grows up believing is always good for you. It's packed with vitamins, iron, antioxidants, the kind of food doctors encourage you to eat more of. But here's something many seniors don't realize. Spinach behaves very differently inside an older body, especially late in the day. When you eat spinach for dinner, your digestive system begins breaking down a compound inside the leaves called oxalate. It's completely natural, nothing strange or artificial. But oxalate doesn't just disappear. It binds with minerals in your bloodstream, especially calcium, and forms tiny crystals. In younger people, the kidneys clear these easily. But as we age, the kidneys work more slowly, blood flow becomes less efficient, and those oxalate calcium crystals stay in the bloodstream longer than they should. You may not feel them, but your blood does. It becomes just a little thicker, a little slower, a little heavier. And if this happens at night, when your circulation is already naturally reduced, it can quietly raise the amount of effort your heart needs to push blood through your arteries. For many older adults, that extra effort is what causes them to feel pressure in their chest, tightness in their temples, or a strange heaviness in their arms when they wake up. Some seniors tell me they feel perfectly fine after dinner, but when morning comes, they feel sluggish, stiff, or like their body is moving through mud. That sensation isn't aging, it's poor circulation, and high oxalate vegetables like spinach, when eaten in large amounts at night, can be a big part of the reason. Spinach also pulls water into the intestines as it digests, which may sound harmless, but this subtle shift in fluid balance can leave your bloodstream slightly more concentrated overnight. When blood becomes more concentrated, even by a small amount, it flows less smoothly, and slow-moving blood has a much higher chance of forming tiny clots. Seniors rarely feel these clots forming, but they can cause micro-interruptions in brain blood flow, the type that leads to memory problems, morning confusion, and in more serious cases, silent mini-strokes. Another thing many older adults overlook is how they prepare spinach. In salads, smoothies, or lightly cooked dishes, oxalate levels remain high, and because these meals feel light and healthy, many seniors end up eating more spinach than they think. A large salad bowl or a big green smoothie can contain 2 to 3 cups of raw leaves. It feels refreshing, but for nighttime circulation, it can be overwhelming. But none of this means you need to stop eating spinach. It simply means you need to shift it to the right time of day. Your body handles spinach best in the morning or early afternoon, when your kidneys are more active, your heart pumps stronger, and your blood isn't in its slow nighttime mode. If you love spinach, enjoy it. Just don't ask your nighttime circulation to fight through its oxalates while you sleep. Your brain needs calm, steady blood flow when the world gets quiet, not thicker blood trying to move through tired vessels. Sometimes it's not the vegetable that's the problem, it's the timing, and spinach is one of the clearest examples of that. Number 3. Swiss chard, the potassium surge that can disrupt senior heart rhythm at night. Swiss chard is one of the most beautiful vegetables you'll ever see. Bright stems, dark green leaves, the kind of produce that makes you feel healthier just by looking at it. And during the day, it can be a wonderful source of nutrients. But at night, Swiss chard can behave in a way that catches many seniors off guard. The reason is simple. It's one of the most potassium-rich vegetables on Earth. Now, potassium is essential. Your heart, your muscles, your nerves, they all need it. But the part that surprises most older adults is how differently potassium affects the body after sunset. As we get older, our kidneys naturally slow down. Even in people who feel perfectly healthy, they're still working, just not with the same speed or precision they had decades ago. So when you eat a vegetable like Swiss chard for dinner, especially in a large serving, that big wave of potassium enters your bloodstream at a moment when your kidneys aren't ready to handle it efficiently. What happens next is something many seniors experience but rarely connect to food. Your heart rhythm becomes more sensitive. Potassium controls the electrical signals that make your heart beat. Too little potassium, and the heartbeat becomes weak and irregular. Too much potassium, especially too much, too fast, and the heartbeat can become unpredictable. Not dangerous every time, but uneven, jumpy, or off-pattern. The kind of irregularities you feel as a flutter in your chest, a skipped beat, a sudden thump, or a sensation like your heart is pausing. And for many older adults, these sensations show up in the middle of the night. Swiss chard doesn't cause this because it's unhealthy. It causes it because nighttime circulation is slower, and the kidneys can't stabilize the electrolytes quickly enough. The result is a brief imbalance that may only last a few hours. But during that time, the heart is more vulnerable to rhythm changes. Some seniors describe waking up suddenly at 2 a.m. with their heart beating harder than usual. Others say they feel a strange pressure in the chest when lying on their left side. A few notice a trembling feeling in their hands, or a buzzing sensation in their limbs. These aren't random. They're signs that the body is struggling to stabilize its electrical balance. Swiss chard also releases a natural compound when cooked that can mildly dilate blood vessels. During the daytime, this feels great. Steady, warm circulation. But at night, when the heart is already trying to maintain a gentle, even rhythm, that extra dilation can make it harder for the body to keep blood pressure and heartbeat in sync. That's why some older adults wake up groggy, lightheaded, or unusually tired after a Swiss chard dinner. But, as with most vegetables, the solution isn't to avoid it completely. It's to change the timing. Swiss chard is fantastic in a lunchtime soup, a midday stir-fry, or mixed into morning eggs. But at dinner, especially for seniors taking blood pressure medication or diuretics, it can create more trouble than benefit. Your heart works hard for you all day long. At night, it deserves stability. A quiet, predictable rhythm, not an electrolyte surge that forces it to work overtime. And sometimes, the simplest way to protect that rhythm is to move Swiss chard to earlier in the day. Number 4. Kale, the vitamin K leaf, that can quietly interfere with your nighttime blood flow. Kale has a reputation that almost no other vegetable can touch. People call it a superfood, a longevity booster, and the one green leaf everyone over 60 should eat more of. And yes, kale can be incredibly nourishing. But for many seniors, especially those who take blood thinners or have a history of circulation problems, kale can behave very differently depending on when you eat it. Most older adults don't know this, but kale is one of the richest sources of vitamin K1 in the entire vegetable kingdom. Vitamin K is important. It helps your blood clot when you're injured. But the problem begins when you eat kale at night, while your body is trying to keep your blood flow stable and your heart working quietly. Here's something most doctors forget to explain clearly. Blood-thinning medications like warfarin, apixaban, or even daily aspirin work hardest at night. This is the window when your blood naturally becomes thicker, your vessels slightly tighten, and your circulation slows. These medications help keep things smooth, and prevent clots when you're asleep. But kale, especially a large kale salad or sautéed kale dinner, can interrupt that process without you noticing. Vitamin K has one job: make blood clot more easily. So, when you add a large dose of vitamin K to your system in the evening, your blood-thinning medication now has to fight harder to keep your blood flowing smoothly. For some seniors, this leads to something they don't feel in the moment: thicker blood, slower movement through already narrow arteries, and an increased chance of overnight clot formation. This is why so many older adults wake up with strange symptoms they cannot explain. A heavy feeling in their arm, a little numbness in their fingers, a slight slurring of speech that goes away after a few minutes, or even a dull pressure on one side of the head. These small warnings often show up after a night when the blood didn't move as freely as it should have. But here's the part most people completely overlook. Kale is very easy to eat in large amounts. Spinach wilts down into almost nothing, but kale holds its volume. A big bowl of kale salad can deliver 5 to 7 times the vitamin K your medication is trying to balance. And many people think they're making a healthy choice, not realizing that timing matters just as much as nutrition. Another issue is digestion. Kale takes longer to break down than softer greens. Eating it late can shift blood flow toward the stomach while your body is trying to rest, leaving less circulation available for the brain during the early nighttime hours, a period when the brain is especially sensitive. But kale isn't the enemy. It's actually one of the best vegetables you can eat, just not at night if you're on blood thinners or have a history of clotting, high blood pressure, or stroke. Enjoy kale with breakfast or toss it into your lunch. Give your body all the benefits when your medication, your circulation, and your blood pressure are working in harmony. At night, your heart needs quiet. It needs steadiness. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for your brain is simply save the kale for tomorrow. Number 5. Celery. The light vegetable that can cause surprising blood pressure. Swings at night. Celery is one of those vegetables people eat without a second thought. It feels harmless, crunchy, refreshing, mostly water, almost no calories. Many seniors even use celery juice as part of an evening cleanse, believing it will calm the stomach or help them sleep better. But this is where celery can quietly catch the older body by surprise. What most people don't know is that celery naturally contains sodium, not added salt, but sodium built right into the plant. During the daytime, when the kidneys are active and your circulation is stronger, your body handles this just fine. But at night, sodium behaves differently. Late in the evening, your blood vessels want stability. Your kidneys slow their filtering so your body can rest. Your heart beats with a calmer rhythm, and your blood pressure naturally drifts lower to give your arteries a break. This is a very delicate balance, a rhythm your body depends on to keep your brain protected while you sleep. Then celery enters the picture. Even a moderate amount, especially in juice form, sends a small but noticeable sodium load into your bloodstream. And because it's natural sodium, your body absorbs it quickly. In younger people, this has barely any effect, but in seniors, that quick absorption can cause an unexpected shift. Some older adults feel their blood pressure rise slightly after celery, especially celery juice. They may not notice it fully, but they feel it in subtle ways. A little more warmth in the face, a tighter feeling behind the eyes, or a heartbeat that feels firmer than usual. Others experience the opposite, a drop in pressure, because celery also contains compounds called phthalates, which can relax the blood vessels. The problem isn't the effect itself, it's the timing. Your nighttime blood pressure isn't meant to jump up or slide down abruptly. Either direction, when it happens too quickly, can disrupt the smooth flow of blood to the brain. Seniors often tell me they wake up after midnight feeling restless or slightly disoriented. Or they mention needing to sit on the edge of the bed in the morning because they feel off balance. They rarely connect these moments to something as simple as an evening bowl of celery soup or an after-dinner celery juice. Another thing to remember is dehydration. Because celery is so water-rich, many seniors assume it hydrates the body. But celery also acts as a mild diuretic. For some people, eating it late can pull water toward the kidneys, even if the kidneys aren't actively filtering at night. This leaves the bloodstream slightly more concentrated, and thicker blood does not move gently through older arteries. It's not that celery is unhealthy. It's simply not the ideal vegetable for the hours when your body wants calm, predictable circulation. If you enjoy celery, use it earlier in the day. Have it with lunch, in a stir-fry, or as a refreshing snack in the afternoon. Your body will take in the nutrients without any nighttime circulation surprises. At night, your heart wants peace. Your blood pressure wants steadiness. And your brain, more than anything, wants consistency. Sometimes the simplest vegetable can disturb that balance, and celery is one many seniors never suspect. Number 6. Bok choy, the leafy green that can quietly slow down nighttime metabolism and circulation. Bok choy is one of the gentlest, most delicate vegetables you can put on your plate. It's mild, it's soft, it cooks quickly, and it's often recommended as a healthy choice for seniors trying to eat lighter meals. And during the daytime, bok choy truly is one of the friendliest greens you can eat. But at night, especially for adults over 60, it can create a very different reaction inside the body, one that most people never see. Coming bok choy belongs to the same family as cabbage and broccoli, but it has one unique trait. It contains compounds that naturally slow down thyroid activity. These compounds aren't harmful by themselves. In fact, they're part of what makes bok choy such a calming food. But when eaten in the evening, they can push the thyroid into a quieter, slower state, right when your body is already trying to rest. Your thyroid is like the body's internal thermostat. It keeps your metabolism steady, your heartbeat consistent, and your blood vessels responsive. Even at night, when everything slows down, the thyroid continues regulating how much energy your body needs and how smoothly your circulation should flow. But after a dinner rich in bok choy, especially if it's lightly cooked or raw, the thyroid signals can become too soft. And when that happens, your heart beats a little slower, your circulation becomes a little weaker, and your blood vessels become a little less responsive. None of this shows up in dramatic symptoms. Instead, the effects are subtle. A colder feeling in the hands and feet, a slower waking up process in the morning, or a heaviness behind the eyes. Many seniors describe these sensations without ever thinking about what they ate the night before. They say things like, "It takes me longer to get going in the morning," or "My body feels slower than usual when I wake up." Often, that slow feeling comes from reduced circulation, the kind that develops when the thyroid doesn't send strong enough signals to keep nighttime blood flow stable. And here's something else. Bok choy contains a natural moisture content that shifts the balance of fluids throughout the evening. For an older body, even a small shift can make blood move slightly slower. When blood slows, the brain receives less steady flow. And that's when seniors experience cloudy thoughts in the late evening, difficulty focusing, or even a feeling of needing to sit a moment before standing up. None of this means bok choy is unsafe. It simply means it works against the nighttime rhythm your body depends on. Seniors need predictable circulation while they sleep. They need a steady metabolism, not one that dips suddenly. Bok choy, eaten too late, can gently nudge the body below that threshold. But during the day, bok choy is wonderful. Light, easy to digest, low in calories, packed with vitamins. A perfect vegetable for breakfast soups, lunchtime stir-fries, or mid-afternoon meals. If there's one thing your body needs at night, it's balance. A warm digestion, a calm heart, a metabolism that feels steady, not slowed. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do is save a gentle vegetable like bok choy for a time of day when your body can use it, not struggle with it. Number 7. Arugula, the leafy green, that can drop senior blood pressure. Too fast at night. Arugula is one of those vegetables people fall in love with instantly. Peppery, fresh, light, and often added to salads or sprinkled over dinner plates to make a meal healthier. And for most daytime meals, arugula truly is a wonderful choice. But at night, especially after the age of 60, its effects on the bloodstream can be stronger than many seniors expect. Unlike most leafy greens, arugula is naturally rich in nitrates, the same compounds athletes use to improve blood flow. In a younger body, nitrates help open the blood vessels so oxygen can move more freely. But in an older body, especially when your heart is trying to settle into a calm nighttime rhythm, that same effect can happen too quickly. Your blood pressure is supposed to drift downward slowly as evening turns into night. It's part of your body's built-in healing cycle, a gentle dip that allows your arteries to rest and your heart to work less. But when you eat a big arugula salad at dinner or add a handful on top of pasta, those nitrates can open your blood vessels faster than your system is prepared for. For many seniors, this sudden widening creates an unexpected drop in blood pressure. It's not always dramatic. In fact, most people don't realize it's happening, but your body does. And it shows up in small ways. You feel colder than usual, your legs feel weaker when you stand up from the couch, or you get that rush sensation when you bend down and stand up again. Some older adults even describe a floating or swaying feeling when they walk to the bathroom at night. These little changes may seem harmless, but when blood pressure falls too quickly, it becomes harder for the brain to receive steady circulation. And that's when seniors start waking up groggy or feeling foggy in the late evening, or noticing that their balance feels slightly off in the dark. Some call it getting older, but much of it is actually inconsistent nighttime blood flow. Another thing people don't realize is how easily arugula fits into modern evening habits. Restaurants love using it as a finishing touch. Home cooks toss it into warm dishes because it wilts beautifully, and many seniors eat more arugula than they think. 2 handfuls in a bowl is enough to send a strong wave of nitrates into the bloodstream. Arugula also pairs with foods that naturally relax the blood vessels, like olive oil or lemon juice. When eaten during the day, this is wonderful, but at night, that combination can amplify the drop in blood pressure even further. Does this mean you should avoid arugula? Not at all. It simply means your body handles it better when the sun is up. At lunchtime, arugula can boost energy, sharpen focus, and support heart health. But when the goal is steady nighttime circulation, arugula can be a little too powerful, a little too fast, and a little too unpredictable. Your heart doesn't want big swings at the end of the day. It wants gentle, steady signals. And arugula, as healthy as it is, often gives the older body more of a push than it needs at night. Save it for daytime meals when your circulation is strong and your body is ready to use its benefits without the nighttime risk. Number 8. Pickled vegetables, the salty habit that can spike senior blood pressure at night. Pickled vegetables feel like comfort food for many older adults. A little sour, a little crunchy, full of flavor, and they often remind people of family meals, holidays, or recipes passed down for generations. Kimchi, sauerkraut, pickled greens, pickled cucumbers, pickled okra, all of them have their place on the American table. And because they're vegetables, many seniors assume they're automatically safe, even healthy. But late at night, when your body is trying to keep your blood pressure calm and steady, pickled vegetables can create a very different reaction. The reason is simple: salt. Pickled foods are some of the saltiest vegetables you can eat. Salt is what preserves them, what gives them their tangy bite, what keeps them crisp. But the amount of sodium inside even a small serving of pickled vegetables can be far more than the older body is prepared to handle. After sunset, your heart and blood vessels follow a predictable rhythm every night. As you rest, your blood pressure gently lowers so your arteries can repair themselves. It's a quiet, restorative process. But when you eat a bowl of pickled greens with dinner, or even just a few spoonfuls of kimchi or sauerkraut, the salt enters your bloodstream quickly, and salt doesn't wait. It pulls water into your blood, increases your volume of circulation, and forces your heart to pump harder. Most seniors don't feel this immediately. Instead, they feel it later, a warm pressure in the head, a heaviness behind the eyes, or a restless, unsettled feeling as they try to fall asleep. Some wake up after midnight with their heart beating stronger than usual. Others wake with dry mouth, mild swelling in the fingers, or that uncomfortable feeling of, "My blood pressure was high last night." Salt does something else too. It stiffens the blood vessels. When your arteries become tighter, they don't respond as smoothly to changes in position or movement. That's why so many older adults feel lightheaded when getting out of bed, or need to sit for a moment before standing up fully. It's not always age. Often it's what their dinner did to their circulation. Another thing seniors overlook is how often pickled vegetables appear in evening meals, a scoop added to a sandwich, a spoonful with noodles, a bit served with meat or rice. Even small taste amounts add up, and because pickled foods awaken the appetite, it's easy to keep going back for more. But the biggest challenge is what salt does to the brain at night. When blood pressure rises suddenly, even slightly, the tiny vessels in the brain feel the strain immediately. This is why people who regularly eat salty foods at night have a higher risk of early morning headaches, sudden neck stiffness, and in more serious cases, small circulation interruptions that can build up silently over time. Pickled vegetables aren't unhealthy. They just require timing and moderation. Enjoy them during the day, when your kidneys are active and your heart can handle small increases in blood pressure. But as the sun goes down, give your body the quiet it deserves. Because nighttime should be the calmest part of your day, not a struggle between salt and your circulation. Number 9. Eggplant. The nightshade vegetable that can irritate senior circulation at night. Eggplant is one of those vegetables that feels soft, gentle, and harmless. It soaks up flavor beautifully, cooks down into a tender texture, and shows up in many popular evening dishes: pasta, stir-fries, stews, casseroles. It's comforting, familiar, and so subtle in taste that most people don't think twice about eating it at dinner. But eggplant belongs to the nightshade family, a group of vegetables that contains a natural compound called solanine. And this is where nighttime becomes important. During the day, most older adults handle solanine without any trouble. But when you eat eggplant at night, solanine enters the bloodstream at the exact moment your body wants to slow down and settle into its nighttime rhythm. For many seniors, this mismatch creates a gentle irritation inside the circulatory system. Not enough to cause immediate symptoms, but enough to disturb the calm your blood vessels need before sleep. Solanine doesn't work like salt or sugar. It doesn't spike or drop blood pressure. Instead, it acts like a mild stimulant to the nervous system, especially in older adults whose vessels are more sensitive. It can make the blood vessels slightly more reactive than they should be at night, leading to sensations that are easy to overlook: a faint buzzing in the legs, a warmth or pressure in the head, or a subtle throbbing feeling when lying down. Some seniors describe it as if their body is too awake, even when they feel tired. Others say they wake up during the night with their heart beating a little harder or faster than usual. Not racing, not alarming, just not fully calm. These experiences are often dismissed as stress, aging, or bad sleep. But many times, It's simply the body responding to a vegetable eaten at the wrong time. Another thing about eggplant is how it interacts with the digestive system. It's a sponge for oil. Almost anything it's cooked with gets absorbed deeply into the flesh. So a dinner made with eggplant often carries more oil than people realize. And even healthy oils, when eaten late, can pull blood toward the digestive tract and away from the brain. This shift can leave some seniors feeling cloudy, lightheaded, or unusually tired when they wake up. Eggplant also digests more slowly than other vegetables. That slow digestion keeps the circulatory system slightly more active than it should be at night. Instead of settling into rest, your body ends up working just a little bit harder, your heart pumping slightly stronger, your vessels remaining more alert, and your brain receiving a less steady flow of blood. None of this makes eggplant a bad vegetable. It simply means it works against your body's nighttime priorities: calm, consistency, and relaxed circulation. For most seniors, eggplant is best enjoyed earlier in the day, at lunch or even mid-afternoon, when your heart and vessels can handle the mild stimulation and slower digestion without any consequences. At night, your brain needs steady blood flow. Your heart needs peace. And your entire body needs a rhythm that says, "Rest now." Eggplant, as gentle as it seems, often whispers the opposite. If you've stayed with me through all 9 vegetables, I want you to hear this clearly. You're already doing something many people never take the time to do. You're learning how your body truly works. You're understanding how your brain, your heart, and your circulation change as you age. And that knowledge right there is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Because the truth is, your body is not failing you. It's simply becoming more sensitive, more honest about what it can handle and when it can handle it. The foods that supported you in your 40s and 50s may need a little adjusting now. Not less nutrition, not less flavor, just better timing, better choices, and a little more awareness of how your nighttime circulation behaves. If there's one message I hope you take away tonight, it's this: you have far more control over your stroke risk than you think. Not through fear, not through restriction, but through small, intelligent changes, the kind you are absolutely capable of making. Your brain depends on gentle, steady blood flow. Your heart depends on calm and consistency. And you deserve mornings where you wake up clear, steady, and confident on your feet, not groggy, dizzy, or worried about what the night might have done to your body. So before you go, I want you to do one simple thing. Take a moment tonight to look at your meals with new eyes. Not with guilt, not with restriction, but with understanding. Ask yourself, is this helping my nighttime circulation or making my heart work harder than it needs to? And if this video helped you see things a little more clearly, I would be grateful if you could subscribe to the channel. Not for numbers, but so you don't miss the next health lesson that could protect your brain, your memory, and your independence. Your support allows me to keep making videos that guide you, warn you, and walk with you through this stage of life. And if you know someone, a friend, a parent, a neighbor, who might benefit from this information, please share this video with them. You never know. It might save someone's morning, or even their life. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of your heart. Take care of your brain. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.